good afternoon. The Secretary General and the President will make statements. Secretary General.
So, President Duque, dear Iván, very much welcome to NATO. It's great to see you again. Colombia is a unique and very highly valued partner to the NATO alliance, our first partner in Latin America, and a partner in building international peace and stability. And let me thank you for your personal commitment, for your leadership in developing the partnership between NATO and Colombia. This is something we really appreciate, and it's therefore a great pleasure to see you again here at the NATO headquarters. We share common values and we share security challenges. So over the years, our relationship has grown broader and deeper. Colombia has contributed to NATO counter-piracy patrols off the Horn of Africa. Colombian experts provide demining training to NATO allies and partner countries, and we value your expertise in areas like counter-narcotics and counter-insurgency. So our cooperation is good for NATO and it is good for Colombia. NATO is supporting the development of the Colombian armed forces and institutions, making them an example for the rest of Latin America. We also continue to strengthen our dialogue and cooperation on maritime security and on fighting corruption, disinformation and cyber threats. Just 2 months ago, Colombia and NATO agreed to launch a new partnership program to do even more together, including in areas like fighting terrorism, training and education, and addressing the security impact of climate change, an issue I know it's close to your heart. As we face a more complex and unpredictable security environment, NATO's partnerships makes us all stronger and safer. They are an essential part of our work to address global security challenges and uphold the rules-based international order. Today, that order is under pressure. We discussed Russia's massive and unjustified military buildup in and around Ukraine. NATO remains ready to engage in meaningful dialogue with Russia, and the best way for Russia to demonstrate its readiness to find a peaceful solution is to de-escalate and remove their forces which are now threatening Ukraine, and choose the path of diplomacy. We agreed that every sovereign nation has the fundamental right to choose its own path, and we call on all to respect this right. We also exchanged views on the deepening cooperation between Russia and China, including their support for the repressive regime in Venezuela. We agreed that all parties should play a constructive role for regional peace and stability. So, dear President, once again, thank you for coming here. Thank you for your strong support to the partnership between Colombia and NATO. And I really appreciate working so closely with you, and I appreciate our friendship. So thank you so much and welcome.
Thank you so much, Mr. Secretary General, dear Jens. Thank you for your friendship, and thank you for your strong support to Colombia. So let me first express that Colombia values its partnership with NATO, and we feel proud to be, so far, the only Latin American country that is an associate member of NATO. We also believe that NATO has been supporting Colombia in many important ways. First of all, we have improved our best practices, not only in military forces management, but also procurement, transparency, defense of human rights, and we also value the support we've gotten to reach the best practices in terms of military justice. We also want to reiterate that Colombia feels proud to participate, sharing our experiences with NATO. More recently, we have been present demonstrating all the policy implementation on demining, and we have been able to showcase why in our administration, in less than 4 years, we have been able to implement more than 50% of all the demining policies and objectives reached in Colombia's recent history. We also value the Artemis campaign that we were able to showcase before NATO a few weeks ago with the presence of Minister Molano. And we demonstrate that a joint action has allowed us in 2021 to have a 34% reduction in the deforestation rate. We also feel proud that with NATO, we have signed a new cooperation agreement that expands the areas of joint work, including a more active maritime cooperation. We have also expressed that we want to extend the Artemis campaign to the oceans, specifically considering that trawling practices are affecting coral reefs, and the protection of the coral reefs, especially in declared protected areas, is a must to protect sea life. We also want to highlight, and I want to commend you, because of the great vision to integrate climate action or climate change policies with security. It has been one of the seals of your administration as Secretary General, and you will have our full support. I also want to make a reference to the situation in Ukraine in the following terms. All countries in the world must be free to exercise their sovereignty and decide if they want to join NATO freely. And they are also available and should be available to decide in which of the forms to become a member of NATO they can participate according to NATO's charter. And no nation can, by force, coerce, or try to pressure a country not to comply with their sovereign right to join this very important organization. Colombia was also a country that supported in 2014 Resolution 68262 in the United Nations about the integrity of the Ukrainian territory. We strongly support the Ukrainian integrity of their territory. And we have also said that if there's any action against that integrity, we will join the international community in all the sanctions that will be evaluated. I also believe that you have said something very important about NATO's willingness to have a dialogue in order to de-escalate the current situation, and I think that's the better path for the world. But obviously, we have expressed our concern for the expansion of military power in the Ukrainian border. With that, Mr. Secretary General, as the associate member in Latin America of NATO, we feel proud to work with this organization, and we want to thank your leadership for making our military forces more professional, stronger, are more committed to issues like fighting against climate change. With all our admiration and with all our gratitude, we want to invite you to come to Colombia anytime that you could be available. And I also want to express my gratitude to all the NATO team for giving us such a strong technical support. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. This concludes this press point. Good evening.
Thank you so much.